Well, wouldn't you know it? We got another rarity for you today, folks. We've got a 1979 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am 10th Anniversary Edition. Now, you're probably thinking, hey Jeff, wasn't the first year for the Firebird 1967? And you'd be right, but the first year for the Trans Am was 1969. So, there were 7,500 of these 10th Anniversary Trans Ams made. About 1,800 of them got the Pontiac 400 engine and the 4-speed transmission. About 5,800 of them got the Oldsmobile 403 engine and the automatic transmission, which is what this one got. But, you know, kind of a downgrade, but still a very special car. Now, the 1979 was the first year for this body style. They got a redesigned nose and a redesigned tail pan. And this may not be the first year for the WS6 package, it's the second year, but the thing to note about the WS6 package in 1979, it was the first year for rear disc brakes and for these turbine style wheels. And 79 was a really big deal for the Firebirds because this was their highest production year at about 211,000 Firebirds made, kind of slowly ramping up from 1977. Peaking in 79 and then falling back down for 80-81 after Pontiac got rid of the 400 engine. This was the last year that the 400 was available. After that they went to 301s and 301 turbos. Never mind that, we're not here to talk about those piece of junks, we're here to talk about this thing. Now this is a super special car, and this one in particular has got a pretty cool story. So, I was talking to one of the gals at the DMV, and she said, my brother has a Firebird that he wants to sell, an old Firebird. She said, I don't know what the year is, I don't know much about it, but here's his number, give him a call. And I got a hold of the guy, and he said, oh yeah, it's a 10th Anniversary Trans Am. And immediately I was like, whoa, okay, we gotta talk about this. I gotta check this car out. So, I went up to the farm, his parents' farm that this car was at, and he said that he bought this car in 1992. He thinks that he was the third owner, couldn't remember for sure, but the car had been around the area its entire life. He bought it in 92, and his dad said, you're gonna tear the car up, you're gonna wreck it, we need to park it. And apparently it was a good thing that he did because he did wreck the next car he got after this one. So, I believe he said he parked this car in 95-ish, and then didn't really drive it after that. He started occasionally up until 2017 when the lower radiator hose went out. So this car has been sitting idle since 2017. Well, let's dive into this thing and let's see what kind of project we have ahead of us. Here she is, friends. Check out that big, beautiful bird. Now, this 10th anniversary bird was the only bird that went onto the fenders like this. The rest of them stopped at about here. In the 77 to 79s, the 76s, I think, and older, had kind of a smaller bird on them, less ornate, but this is the most ornate bird ever put on one of these cars. And you can see the two-tone silver colors. My gosh, isn't this thing cool? It's currently covered in road salt from the trip back here on the trailer. Poor thing, so this footage isn't really doing it justice. And honestly, I haven't seen this car clean yet. This color silver was probably the worst color silver that probably the worst color that they used on these cars as far as sticking to the car went. It always chipped off like this so terribly badly. Every one of these that you see that hasn't been repainted more than likely has the paint chipped away. I don't know what it is. The silver paint just did not stick very well. And the interior in these cars didn't hold up very well either because this is the only second gen Firebird to ever get real leather interior in it. It got real leather interior, and it got this really shaggy, I think it's called cut pile carpet. So it's kind of a one-off deal. You can see these nifty 15x8 turbine wheels, and Let's get a look at the bottom of it. It is super solid, man. It's got some stuff popping out down low, but the rest of it's really, really good. This poor car was kind of used as a shelf from 1995 until recently, which can explain some of the dents and goofy scratches up high. It had some damage done, but you know, at least it wasn't outside. It was just in a building where a lot of stuff got ran into it throughout the years, unfortunately. Old Schaefer in Norfolk, Nebraska. Car hasn't gone very far in its life. It's only about an hour and a half away from where it was first sold at. There's the nifty 10th anniversary logo. Sticker, excuse me. Man, I just adore these cars. You can see the two-tone silver paint carries onto the roof here. It's a bit faded, but you can tell. So they're silver cars with silver interior and silver tinted T-tops. Now, thing to note about these 10th anniversary cars in 1979 was the fact that this also doubled as the 1979 Daytona 500 pace car. So, not all 10th anniversaries are Daytona 500 pace cars, but all Daytona 500 pace cars are 79 10th anniversaries, at least in 79. Really common injury for these F-bodies. They got big heavy doors on them, really long, and cheaply made handles, as well as, yeah, many other parts of the car. All right, let's get inside here. Don't you love the fuzzy seat covers? I am just sure that the seat's probably junk underneath of there. No, yeah, of course it is, because it's real leather and they did not last. But you can see the color of the back seat. Isn't that pretty? And check out, it's got super shaggy carpet on it. Now, I said the reason the door panel is off of it is because he rolled the window down, was having trouble getting it back up, so popped the door panel off and was able to help the window come back up. They are power windows and power locks. So the power window switch is in the console, the power lock switch is on the door. There's our silver tinted T-tops. Steering wheel's in pretty good shape. A little cracked up top. The dash, man, is just about perfect. If it's not, it's got some tape residue here or something, but no cracks. Nice console with the obligatory cigarette burn in it. I love the spun aluminum shifter bezel on these things. We got a Miller Genuine Draft bottle cap. Wow, we gotta get the correct one of these. We can't have that. Got a Pioneer Super Tuner. Hell yeah, the original is back here. Okay, it was an 8-track. It wasn't a tape deck yet. I think tape decks, first year for the tape deck was 1980. Got the tape deck in these cars. We got some turds. But check out this super fuzzy carpet. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. Oh, there's our, it's got anti-theft lug nuts on a few wheels, so we got the key. Check out the door panel. I don't know why he was working on taking the seats out. That's neither here nor there. Oh, cool. That's the neatest keychain I've ever seen. Pierce Blue Jays. Slap shifter, of course. I think my dad reminded me of this. I think these 79s also have red backlit gauges instead of that green color. Oh man, are we gonna be able to get this off? Oh, thank goodness. That's gonna look so much better. I need to get that purple tint off. That ain't doing it for me. Oh yeah, then we've got the pulse wipers too, not just high and low. Man, I love this interior. This is my favorite color. Goodness. Yeah, I don't know why I had the seats torn out as well. I don't know what his plan was. I didn't ask. It was about 4 degrees out when we were trying to make a deal on this car. So I was more than excited to get out of there. Rear defrost lines. Oh, okay. Oh no, this is gonna suck big time, guys. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be a Bearcat. I might be better off just buying new glass. It might be easier. But good God Almighty. I can't believe I got my eyeballs on one of these things again. Let's look in the trunk. I don't remember what's in there. I forgot that I got the Space Saver spare with a different tire mounted on it. So this was originally about, you know, that wide, and it had I think a can of nitrogen that inflated them, but somebody put a regular old radial on it. We've got a couple of the center caps. I don't know what this spring is for. It's painted blue, not silver, so. Oh, we've got a power trunk release too. Check that out. Got the jack parts. Yeah, this trunk is rock solid, man. Wow. Deck lid's in really nice shape. Man, as bad as I want to buff this thing, ooh, I might be able to get some of it out. I don't want to get too nuts because I don't want the entire car to turn into these black spots. So maybe we'll just buff it with something really light, not get too into it. All right, engine time. So he told me that the AC still worked when he started it back in 17. And those are the original plug wires on it still. They are. Our fuel pump looks a bit grimy, like it was leaking. Looks like it had a water pump put on it at one point. Yeah, look at all that blue paint left on the valve covers. Outstanding. Still has all of the original vacuum hoses on it. Probably has original plugs in it still too. But yes, those are original plug wires on the car. I can see a date code, their date code of 1979. Golly. So yeah, decked out, air conditioning, cruise control, power steering, power brakes. Everything that you would expect. Can't tell. 6.6 liter. Man alive. Now, they did crank this engine over for me just briefly. Just for a second. I barely hit the key and I said, okay, that's enough, it turns. I didn't doubt that it would, but I want to take some extra steps here. Let's pull the plugs out. Let's oil the cylinders down. Man, there is just miles of vacuum line on these cars. They're so choked down from emissions. Alright, how does this feel? Feels nice. A lot of turds on top of the engine. A lot of blue paint left though. I left the shaker base kind of in place because there's 3 vacuum lines going to it. Check it out, still has the little heat riser coming off from the manifold there. Yeah, those are definitely stock plug wires. And check it out, you can still see the stamp on the valve cover there. Marked okay. That's all these old 403s were just okay. I got some custom wiring going on back here. I see wire nuts. I don't like wire nuts. I wonder if that had to do with ooh, there's a lot of it too. Okay, so this was all going to the battery. I wonder if that has to do with the stereo that's in it. Probably. Oh man, this This is also extracurricular. That's a big old gnarly ground wire. Yeah, that's got to go too. This is how I would have put a radio in when I was 18 too. So I've got no room to talk. Yeah, I'll figure all that out later. At least we don't have power going to it, I hope. Nope. Got these goofy little adapters, that's great. Okay, I'm gonna mark the plug wires and then we'll start pulling them off. Man, it's not often that you see all these looms still intact. It's supposed to be mounted up here. We'll fix that. All right, let's number them. I've never taken a wrench to a 403 Olds before. I've had a lot of these cars, and I've never had a 403 car that ran. So we've got some Motorcraft plugs in it. So must have been replaced once, but you know, they look pretty good. They're a little off-white, a little biscuit brown, which is exactly what we want to see. That number 4's got a little more carbon on it than the rest of them, but not bad. Doesn't look like they spent much time in the car. Okay, let's oil her down. Let's spin it. I hear stuff moving. I can hear the plug wires sparking. So that's cool. All right, I'm gonna get that battery out of the way, throw all the plugs back in it, and we'll try to fire them up. Alrighty. What do we got going on here? It's full, a little past full, and it's half dirty, half clear. So make of that what you will. There's oil in it. Let's go on the offensive here and take off the line going to the fuel pump if I can get it off. My little spring clamp is all jacked. We got fuel coming out already. Well, maybe our pump is good. I guess this is the part where we fill the carburetor up with fuel and put a key to it. For some reason the gas I have smells skunked already, so that's great. Fill the bowl up until we see it coming out of the accelerator pump hole, which is right now. Give it a big drink. I suppose a battery would help. Like just sitting there idle and like sitting Not bad, huh? Okay, now let's check the important part. Does it have red backlit gauges? Haha, it does! Yes! Ah, I love that so much. This was the, I think the first car to get it was this car, and they carried it on through the 80 and 81 pace car gauges as well. My gosh, isn't that cool? We got a couple bulbs out. Still looks killer. All right, friends, this thing was allegedly parked because the radiator was bad. I can see fluid in there. Maybe it's got a hole halfway down it. The radiator looks really darn fuzzy. So let's toss it. I have an aluminum one here that came with that black car, so we'll just toss him in. This dandy. It looks like this one's been out and boiled and not repainted once already. There's no paint anywhere on it. It is pretty crunchy. The car, this thing lived on gravel, a lot of gravel. So that can explain stuff like this, stuff like why the paint isn't perfect. And the winters here are particularly bad. Okay, let's get that thing dunked in. You gotta take the fan off because you have to be able to pretty much pull the radiator shroud and the radiator out in one piece. So that's why we did what we did. They're not fun to work on. There's 2 screws on the bottom that hold the shroud to the radiator support. So it's kind of involved, kind of a pain. Okay, now we got to dunk it in there without breaking anything. Okay, let's find out how difficult our life is gonna get. From what I can see so far, things look nice. That looks like a lot of clean tank with gas in it. Okay, looks like we can run that. I think, kind of see here, this is the main seam in the middle of the tank, and then that's the level of gas. So we've got dirty, ugly gas in there, but we've got what looks like a really, really clean tank. I think we can run this. Okay, let's evacuate the gasolina. Wish I would have made this big, complicated harness retractable or something. I think the only one we don't use is this coil. Yeah, positive coil. Okay, let's hit it. There we go, I hear something. Yeah, it probably would have fired, but it's pretty brown. All right, let this cook for a little bit. While we're waiting for the tank to drain, let's fill up these tanks. Bonus points to anybody who can tell me what this hose is for. This is the water drain hose that comes off the corner of the shaker that we can see has been siliconed back on with tub and tile. That's great. Didn't get much gas out of it. Checked it again with the camera and there is barely anything. So I think if we put 5 gallons in the tank, I think we're gonna be good enough. Let's disconnect the fuel line at the carb so that we can see what we're gonna get out of the fuel system. And then once it runs and it looks clear, then we'll hook it back up to the carb, I suppose. You ever see orange looking transmission fluid before? That's really cool. I don't think it's antifreeze getting into it because the antifreeze is green, so we're not gonna worry about that. Also change of plans. That hard line going into the carburetor would really just like to twist off. So I reconnected the hose onto the fuel pump coming from the tank. So we are just gonna top off the transmission. Usually these things like to sit and typically, or these things like to leak when they sit, I should say. And they typically like to leak out about 1/4, 2 or 3 or maybe even 4. And you really don't want these pumps to run dry in these transmissions because it can smoke them. So let's just put 2 quarts in it for now. That should be enough to at least keep the pump from burning up. And I guess we fire it. Alrighty friends, I have my fire extinguisher behind me. Just in case. What's this bolt doing here? Is that a bolt? What's going on? I don't know. We'll look into all the probable vacuum leaks in a little bit. Do you remember we ran the carb out of gas? Let's fill them up again. And hopefully this is enough fuel to get it to pull from the tank. Choke's barely even on. Cable is slack, so that's not a great sign. If you don't have the e-brake cables tied on these rear wheel disc cars, the rear brakes aren't going to work. Don't see any leaks. Cooler lines look tight. I don't see a fuel geyser or anything anywhere. Being the car doesn't have wheel cylinders to leak out of, it might have brake fluid in it. Reservoirs are a little low, but there's fluid in there. We might be able to drive it on what's in it right now. we've got to be pulling out of the tank now. We've got a little bit of blue smoke back here, but not bad. A lot of this could just be the gas that's burning off. Remember that part where the guy said that the air conditioning worked? Yeah, we got a little bit of a chooch, but not bad. We got a lot of crap to burn off. Okay, so that loose wire I saw under the front end was not the horn. It says we've got half a tank, which probably not quite because I only put 5 gallons in. We are charging. We're hanging out at 14 volts. We dial you in here. Hey, check it. We got dome light. Power steering is low. Don't know what our oil pressure is. Heat might be starting to come up. Okay. Max AC. Oh man, things are moving. Fans all the way up. It tried to move. I had it for a little bit. There we go. Just doesn't work on the high setting. Let's see if the compressor kicked in. No, it did not. Yeah! It worked on a Ford compressor, probably not this one. The wiring all looks like it's there. Wonder why the idle picked up. Okay, so I forgot that this is all vacuum controlled. This top section is vacuum controlled. So that's why our vacuum changed when we turned it on. It runs really freaking smooth. We got some cheech going. I don't think it's got like a head gasket popped or anything crazy. It has brake pedal. It has a lot of brake pedal. I wonder if it has trunk release. Oh yeah, it should. Yeah, right there. I think I may have pulled out all the wiring for the radio. Okay. Reverse. Yeah. There's reverse, neutral, drive. We have drive. We have gears. Wow. Our fan is still spinning, despite us trying to have everything off. Huh, wow. Lights, let's try lights. We checked dome lights, or gauge lights once. We've got it cooking back here. Those are some of the best looking taillights I've ever seen. We've got something going on up front. Marker. We've got our low beams. Both blinkers. She wants to live, boys. I would say that it is running good enough and moving. I think that we can get this guy on the lift and we can change the oil. Wow, isn't this cool? Just wow, guys. Outstanding. Just killer. So you can tell by the big mess, We got it burped. It's our temp. 177, 178. Yep. Just a little bit cooler on the downstream side. Cool. Thermostat's open. We got him burped. Okay, great. Gotta wait for our oil filter to get here. We got some crap burning off. Probably staying to do valve cover gaskets, but another day. We need seats that are bolted down. So let's pull everything out of here and see what we can see. Oh good, that's not broken. Ah, excellent. Seat hardware. Oh, another door handle. Dang it. Okay, that's even the correct side. Original radio. It's too bad they probably cut the dash out for this one, or the new one. The Super Tuner. Oh, and look at, that's just been mangled. I don't know. Might be able to doctor this up, but I ain't planning on it. T-top bags. Door panel liner that I ripped. Yeah. Go something like that there. Might be able to tape it up. How's our panel look? Not too bad. And a little bit of a tear there. We can deal with it. Trans Am, Decon. I think we take everything out and vacuum it. It's definitely better. You can see how thick that carpet is now. It's really, really plush. I got some friends over on this side. It's not going to be as much fun, but we're coming along and it really doesn't smell that bad. I think we can live with this. Check out this like 10 gauge wire we got running through the floor. Must have had something cooking in the back seat. Oh crap, I gotta find the seatbelt retainers. But check it out. Rip them gross sheepskin covers off. It's discolored, but it's not, well, sans that spot there. It's not ripped. Okay, time to vacuum these up. We're gonna run these. I don't want to sit on those anymore. Doesn't that look nice? So does that. That's all right, we can live with that. I know the driver's side's not as nice, but I consider this an improvement to the sheepskin covers. I've grown to pay attention to things in my old age and do things that will make my life easier instead of the other way around. Another thing we got to try to check out here is regulator. I know that you're not supposed to cover them in oil because then they get a bunch of crap stuck to them, but hear me out. This window ain't working in its current condition here, so we got to try to help them out every way we can. We're gonna grease up the regulator, and all the vertical window tracks, and then maybe it'll go up and down easier. Forgot you don't need the door on to run the window. Okay. On position maybe? Nothing at all. This is the window lock, or the door lock, so that is a mute point. I got nothing. Oh, there we go, now we're on. Nothing out of the switch at all. Okay, this might be for another day then. Yeah, it's hooked up. That light's dimming, like it's got a draw. Assuming that's a good ground. I don't have anything over here. I just don't have power. It's usually these rocker switches get all dirty and worn out. Okay, another day. I tell you what, I have very rarely ever seen bare metal on seat tracks like that. We're also gonna lube these little detent balls because you usually end up having to move the tracks around to get everything situated. It's good practice, you know? Good vehicle maintenance. Check it out, partners. We got the interior mostly put back together. Sans that door panel, we still have to work on that. That's at the bottom of the driver's seat, looks like. And I have a theory that these seats show wear prematurely to what a vinyl seat would. Mainly because, like I said, they're leather, they dry out. So that is probably why all the stitching pulled apart. Heck yeah, dudes. Okay. I also found this pouch here. It doesn't look original. I think that was made by somebody. I don't know what it's for. I think we need to change the oil in them now. And I think if we change the oil, I think we can drive it to the gas station and maybe even the car wash. I got the oil dropped and the filter changed, and we're swapping it out with a Wix filter and Valvoline VR1 10W30. Not because it's a super high performance engine, but it is an old flat tappet engine. It needs the correct amount of zinc, which the VR1 has. So that's what we're gonna run with. O'Reilly's had it in stock, so why not? I don't remember if this takes 5 or 6 quarts. I think 5. But I've removed a 403 before, but I've never actually worked on one. I've worked on Oldsmobiles, but oddly enough, never a 403 and a Firebird. Okay, all the fluids topped off. Power steering was good, even though it felt like it didn't have any power steering. Ended up being 5 quarts. Brakes are topped off. Good enough for now, right? We need to check the transmission once we have it running. Interior is in. We can deal with this for now. There's something really important we need to put on, because we don't need to be looking any poorer than we actually are. Dig that. That light still works. We got to put these center caps back on, if they will go on. Oh my gosh. Oh no, I broke the clippies. That one's on. I didn't expect that to actually work. Those are notoriously bad. I had an epiphany. That is one of the rear springs for the e-brake where it goes onto the caliper. Sid and I at O'Reilly's were talking about that, and he said, oh yeah, the new calipers for the back just come with the bracket and the spring. And I was like, oh, that's what that spring's for. I forgot about that. Okay, let's see if he will fire up again. Oh, this feels so right. Just idling. we got some movement going on now. It feels a little bit better. Tack actually does work, doesn't it? Sure does. It sounds really good for not doing anything to it. Like, better than we deserve, guys. That fuel pump's really wet, but that's because I sprayed it down with Freol because I thought that I was going to be taking that line off. I don't see it hemorrhaging any liquids. There's a fuel line right there that's hanging in there. I guess we clean the windshield off and try to drive it now. We are a Navy family. Thank you for your service, Vern. My grandpa was in the Navy. USS Iowa. I guess we move this Grand Prix and we get it out of here. The old brakes definitely require a good 1-2 pump. There's the pipes. But I think we're gonna live. I think that's indicative of the master cylinder. There's way too much traffic over here for me right now. I cannot handle this. I've got a car in front of me, I got a car behind me. Don't you people know that I should not be on the road right now? This guy's taking his ass down the middle. Oh my gosh. Okay, how bumpy is this? Fairly. The answer is fairly bumpy. That, the front left was rather flat when I first took off. Good acceleration though. It's responsive. I didn't get on it in the least bit. We've got too many bumps coming up. Oh my gosh, these tires are bad. But there's no hesitation to it. Outstanding, yeah. Our temp gauge is working. Our oil gauge looks like it may have came back a little. Yeah, the brakes need a good 1-2 pump. Okay, if you're not gonna go, I'm gonna go. But once you give them the second pump, they're there, buddy. This would be just a terrible spot to lose brakes. I don't even know what I'd do. I'd probably die. Okay, let's get some good old 91 in her. Seems to be running really good. It really smoothed out. Gosh, this thing sounds like it's fuel injected now. Yeah, we might have some old fuel that we're burning off still. Ooh, yeah, we got to do something about that. But man, it sounds so good. Pretty cool. Okay, let's give her a bath. Looking better, boys. Freshly detailed. Now we just need to spray it all with tire shine. I thought about spraying degreaser on the wheels, but I wasn't sure what it would do to the clear coat. I don't want to mess these wheels up that badly. That degreaser's probably a little tough on the paint too, I would imagine, being this paint's as fragile as it is. Try not to get too carried away in this general area, huh? These, the T-tops don't really, seal. Okay, I'm gonna get to this. We'll show him to you when he's clean. That'd be really cool if that oil gauge is accurate. It's like hanging out at 60 PSI. All right, let's do a look over. Running good still. The paint is about what I imagined. Like I said, oh, we got a bit of a touch-up going on right there. Probably covered some chips. Yes, the paint leaves a lot to be desired on these cars. Look at our back windows fogging up. Maybe we need to run our rear defrost. Does it work? Defrost on. Well, it's lit up like it works. Let's watch it. Maybe not. Let's come back. Let's check out the motor. Shouldn't have too much dripping, maybe some water, but I don't see antifreeze or oil or ATF or anything like that. Engine bay looks a lot more respectable now. Yes sirree. That's just water sitting on the intake. I don't see anything glaring. I don't know. I think we're all right. Guess I'm driving it home tonight. Okay. We'll see you in the morning. Better. Better. Let's add battery cables to the list. Transmission seems happy. Listen for the pipes. Alrighty, the old bird is airborne. Let's take a look at her underneath. Up front, we see the, I believe, 1.25" sway bar, which is indicative to the WS6 package. Yeah, you can tell these 1.25" ones have different sway bar brackets than the smaller diameter bars. So that's a telltale sign of the WS6 handling package. Really not much has been messed with, it looks like. Got a nice grimy 403, but I just cleaned the floor. That's old, don't worry about that. We got a couple drips from the transmission, but nothing from the engine, surprisingly, despite it being as wet as it is. Looks like our drain plug sealed back up. Yeah, the old turbo 350. May have a leak or two. Here's another deal here. These support bars here on the lower A-arms, those are also WS6 specific. Got a great look at the sweet mud flaps there. Let's check out the toe boards. Toe boards look nice. Really nice. Bottom of the fender looks nice. Rocker looks good. How about over here? Same thing over here. A little bit of rot in the bottom of that fender, but not bad. Nice rocker, although we got into something there. Pushed it in a little bit. Floor pan looks good. That's the seat bottom. Here is the back floor pan for the passenger side. Looks really, really nice. Very good. Same thing over here. That pan looks good. Here's under the back seat. These tend to rust out if they get a bunch of mouse house in them, which doesn't look like this one got. Yeah, that looks great. Front of the frame rail looks good. Same with this side. These are unibody cars, so they have frame rails. That bolt poking out right there, that is the rear seat belt retractor. And they tend to rust out in this area. You tend to get a bunch of rust jacking in between all the pieces of sheet metal. This one has just surface rust. It's not really bubbly. Yeah, same with over here. This is really good. This is one of the cleanest F-bodies I've had, really. Oh, no wonder it sits so high in the back. I've got those goofy coil-over shocks. Looks like we need to add an axle seal to our list, which is fine because our differential already looks pretty greasy, so we better do something about that. Been into it once before. We've got blue RTV, and everything else is painted a beautiful shade of silver. Like I suspected, the emergency brake is not hooked up for these rear brakes. Looks like on either side. Yeah. And I think that these rear brakes need the e-brake to be properly adjusted in order for them to work properly. And O'Reilly's said they might not be able to get me new calipers, so we might get to do the S10 rear caliper conversion on it. Looks like the tank has been into at some point. Parts of it are painted black, so I don't know if it was replaced or what, but it sure did look nice when we scoped it. Bottom of the quarter has surface rust, but really no rust through. And some dings in it. How about this side? Inner looks good. Outer, same thing, surface rust. How do you like the touch-up paint? Oh my. But hey, the tail panel looks pretty good. This side is really nice. This is a notorious spot for these cars. These tail panels rust out bad. Got a little bit of rot on this side, here, and here. But gosh, really not bad at all. This thing is super solid. I think the pipes look goofy because I think they kept the original pipes from here back, and then there used to be a transverse muffler that went right here, and that probably rotted out, and then it got these duals put on it, but they kept the original tailpipes. They just clocked them at a goofy angle. Oh well. Oh well. Okay, I suppose I'll get some wheels off and we're gonna get into this. Oh, never mind the wire exhaust hanger. You can tell that he was an airplane mechanic, the way he tied that together. Did a good job. It's tight, it's not going anywhere. Here's our beautiful shock absorber. And we got some wheel spacer action going on back here. I get why he did this, because these F-bodies, the rear wheels sit in maybe at least an inch, maybe not quite an inch. They noticeably sit in from the outer or from the front wheels, so this makes it look more even, and also explains why we had different lug nuts on the back than we do the front. But I don't like these things, so we're gonna do the right thing. Get rid of them. And we're just gonna compensate with wider tires on the back. How does that sound? Wish I had a better way to illustrate what I went through, but as you may know, on the bottom of these master cylinders is the proportioning valve, and that's kind of a safety mechanism so that if you lose brake pressure on either the front or the rear, there's a shuttle inside that valve that's shaped like a, I don't know, like your finger, I guess, that moves inside of it. So it'll move if it senses a lack of pressure, and then once that moves, there's notches in it, and it'll shut off, like I said, it'll shut off the flow of fluid to either the front or the back, vice versa. And I suspected that since we were having troubles with the back brakes on this thing, I thought, man, maybe that proportioning valve's kind of skewed. And I also noticed that the wire going to our proportioning valve switch was unplugged. So I decided to look deeper into it. I pulled the switch out, and I could tell that the shuttle wasn't in the right spot. I think it's in the right spot now, so that it'll allow fluid to flow freely front and back. So that could have made our lives a real pain in the butt when we tried to bleed them. But they make this cool little tool that looks like this, the switch here, except it's got a plunger on it that doesn't move like this one does. What it does is it holds the shuttle inside the valve in place. It's that little blue donger down there, and that will keep fluid flowing to both the front and the back freely, so that we don't have any issues when we're bleeding the brakes. Okay, now I need to try to remember how to do everything on the back. Really, everything on the fronts doesn't look bad. The rotors aren't all totally rusted over. We've got a lot of meat left on our pads, but this stuff is cheap. It's gonna give us peace of mind, so I'm gonna go ahead and just redo everything, and I'll include you guys once we get into something interesting. For a minute I was feeling like, you know, that rotor spin's really nice. I probably shouldn't do anything about it. But I'm glad I took it off, because we see how the grease got all rusty. Water got in there. I don't think the bearings were bad, but we've got contamination. So glad we're doing what we did. Check it out. Chalk mark still on the spindle. I've never seen that before. That is so cool. Yeah, they spun really well, but must have got water in there. And yeah, I don't feel bad about doing this. Bearings are cheap. Rotors, not as cheap, but everything's gonna be new. Hopefully everything works good. Alrighty, front brakes are done. We have new bearings, rotors, calipers, pads, hoses, the works. Let's move on to the back. My memory is a little bit fuzzy when it comes to these. They bolt together the same. I need to take the axles out, which is going to be fun, because that axle seal is bad. And what I'm trying to remember is how all this went together. So I believe that there is a spring about this long that goes, one end mounts here, and then the other end is supposed to press against a bar that comes off of that stud right there. So the spring is between the bar on this side and that lower bracket. Man, I think that's how it goes. I'm waiting on new calipers to get here, and apparently the calipers come with the bar and the spring, so that's excellent news, because I don't have any of that, obviously. But I think it mounts the same, just like the front calipers with the slider bolts here. The lines going to them are kind of a poor patent, and old Sid at O'Reilly's pointed this out to me, because the caliper is constantly moving in and out, which is inevitably going to fatigue the line, which I suppose is why they put that giant dog leg in it. So the line can move a little bit until it probably eventually cracks. But we're not gonna worry about that today. Oh no, we're gonna slam it back together. Okay, let's get all this apart. We need to get the brakes taken off because we need to get to that axle seal, and gosh, do we do both axle seals while we're in here? We've got it apart, may as well. So I was trying to get the line loose from that little block that goes into the caliper. I thought I can leave that line alone. It was fighting me, so I'm just gonna unbolt that block off the caliper. Easy as that. Man, GM almost got it right. Oh, come on, baby. We just needed to, just had to clock these brackets like a 1/16 of an inch for this to work. Okay. If you keep pulling down on it, it'll inevitably clearance whatever you're bound up against. Ooh. Okay, this is gonna be a both hands deal. Slide bolt's catching the end of the brake pad. Oh, is that all it took? Oh man, it's so close. If I pull down on the bolt, I can get it past the spring, but I can't pull down on the bolt and then walk the bolt out at the same time. Oh, here we go. Man, we really fumbled that one, old General Motors. It's no wonder people get away from these setups. We might end up doing an S10 conversion before the day's over. Oh, I don't want to bend that too badly. Okay, it's out. Just have to get it out the rest of the way. Finally! Brother! There it is. 179 to 81 WS6 loaded rear caliper. Wow. All right, we got both the calipers on the ground. Yeah, it looks like this axle seal was getting a bit scuzzy too. So let's pull the cover off. Let's slide the axles out. Let's throw some seals in it. All right, so we can see that it is a GM posi unit, and this being a 403 car should have 273 gears. The 404 speed cars I believe got 308s. It's hard to see, but we had a 41 and a 15 on the ring gear. So 41 divided by 15 is, yeah, 273. So 41 is the gear teeth on the ring gear, and 15 is the amount of teeth on the pinion gear. So take 41 divided by 15 and that gets you your axle ratio. So we need to pull that center pin out. And do that, we gotta pull that little bolt out. Let's do that. Listen, I don't know what size this bolt is that holds everything together, but man, I'll tell you what, it's not a 1/4 inch, it's not 5/16, it's not 7 millimeters, it's not 8 millimeters. So just be careful with it. I tried to not turn anything while I'm taking this apart. These bolts are really hard to get to and really easy to strip. Oh, there we go. I guess it's closest to 5/16. Maybe it's just a sloppy 5/16. This thing's been into once before, and he was telling me about what was going on, but I really can't quite remember. They had a reason for being in here. So all this little voltage that I'm taking out is it's just a keeper for this big pin here in the middle. And this big pin is what holds everything together. So if you lose this little bolt and the big center pin starts to slide out, you're in a world of hurt if you're driving. So I got my center bolt out, and then my pin started to slide, and then I did something really cool, and I dropped my bolt down into my oil tank. Idiot. Okay, center pin is out. Next order of business is C-clip removal. Thankfully, C-clips are too big to fall down into the oil drain. So we need to push the axles in. And I heard the C-clip move around. See if I'm good enough to fish this little sucker out. You want to try to really not move anything, because you don't want to get your spider gears all misaligned. There's one. Push the other axle in. Okay, I can see the other. Gotta go in further. Just a little. Oh, or it falls down into the bottom, either or. Got it. Now you can pull your axles out. Try to pull them straight out without turning them. Go. So this has the repair axle bearings in it, meaning that the differential oil is sealed off with a seal from the outer bearing, and something must have failed in there because they're obviously leaking pretty bad on both sides. So let's pull out that one piece bearing and seal. I hope. There we go. That's what he looks like. I don't think I messed anything up too bad. Nah, we're fine. But yeah, it's one big pressed together piece. Alright, I've got the new repair axle bearing. We're just gonna give this something to slide against. That's way too much. And then we'll shove it in there. We'll try to not mess this up too bad because these have a sealing O-ring. And we take it until it hits this lip on the inside of the axle tube. So this bearing is going to stick out, what, about 1/4 of an inch? Not even. I think we're home now. That's pretty cool. Yeah, we're seated. Okay, that was easy. That was arguably easier than just putting in the seal itself. This bearing has no grease in it. The other one has some. I assume it's supposed to have something. I've never dealt with these before. Yeah, we're gonna make sure that it's got something to keep it wet. Alrighty, we're putting stuff together now. Try to not knock your new seal around. There we are. Whew, that can be tricky. So here's why it had the repair bearings in the first place. Check out how galled up the axle shaft is. That looks like that would be on the bearing surface, I believe. Yeah, so this rear end must have got ran a bit dry. Ran out of lubrication on the bearing surface and galled it all up. So that explains why they've been in it before already, and that explains why it has repair bearings in it. Now this is going to be hard to see. I apologize. There's not a good angle to get you in there. Use my crummy little magnet to get my C-clip back into position. And you kind of got to hold it there, then pull your axle. And not decapitate your fingers. No. Yes, no. I think it's in. No, it ain't, because I can't get my, I don't have enough room to get my pin in. There we go. Now I should. Yep. Now we can slide the pin in there. I'm gonna get my bolt ready with some medium strength Loctite so that he doesn't want to back out. Pin goes in with the hole to the bottom. Nothing's in the way. Easy as that. So I've got to do a pinion seal as well. So to get our pinion depth right, we're going to make a mark on our pinion itself and a mark on the pinion nut so that we know where they line up at. And also we're going to count how many threads on the pinion we can see. There. 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 2 yellow dots, can't miss them. See if we can see our thread count. We can see 3 threads between the end of the pinion and the nut. I know I'm a bad boy, this isn't an impact socket. 1.25 inches. There's my washer. Cool, we gotta get that greasy bastard out of there. If it's as ugly as it looks, it won't put up much of a fight. There we go. Forgot about the oil spill. Right or wrong, I put just a skim coat RTV around the outside so that it can attract dirt to it. That was my plan all along. Huh. I don't think there's a weep hole anywhere. No. No. Okay. One day I'll buy the tool to do this, but until then, I'll suffer. This one isn't going too bad. This might be the first time that I've ever bought one that the O'Reilly's website actually listed it as the correct application for. Otherwise, with most of these old Pontiacs, I end up having to cross-reference an old GM part number that doesn't exist anymore. Or go by dimension application. We're home, boys. Alrighty, friends, I've got some assembly lube on the pinion. I don't know if the washer's directional, but we're gonna put it on the same way. All right. And we're gonna add some blue Loctite again. This is probably pretty far up there on the list of stuff that you don't want coming apart. All right, remember, get your marks lined up, have your 3 threads showing, if it is 3, and don't go too far or else I believe you'll ruin the crush sleeve, and you don't want to have that kind of bad day. So then you're starting over, feller. This is, you kind of know when you're almost there because it gets really, really tight. It's not how I want that facing. All right, we're at 1 thread. Brother, back up. One more revolution and then we're home, partners. I turn my light up, I'm getting old here. Yeah, one more spin. Yeah, that's 1, 2. Almost there. Yeah, it's getting tight now. We're home. Alrighty, friends, we've got the rest of our e-brake cables. We've got both calipers. We have our pads. So, we're ready to shove some brakes on this thing. First, we're gonna clean up these two mating surfaces on each side, and then this axle surface area where the brake drum goes onto, because we don't want to have any rust, jacking, or binding or anything like that going on. Wish I was surprised that we ran into a problem, but not really. The anti-rattle clip has nowhere to go. So let's get our grinder out and buzz that rivet off, I guess. Our next accomplishment is that this relief here in the piston needs to be down here at the bottom so that this notch on the pad can sit in there. Now, man, I just don't remember how to do this anymore. We've got to move this because this will rotate the piston so that we have that relief in the 12 o'clock position or 6 o'clock position if we look at it in this direction. I don't love or believe this, but allegedly you can turn this with channel locks. Okay, I guess you can. I was just being a wiener about it. Okay, 6 o'clock. To do that, to grab onto it, I dialed the piston out. Oh, come on, buddy. Can't really get to my stub now. I'm in a world of crap. Okay, I guess it does work that way, because it retracted. Okay, let's get our pins out. We'll sneak our pads in. Okay, there's our inboard and our outboard. And then they're just kind of held in there by the pins and the piston. The brake best saga continues. So, on my old calipers, I was missing most of the brackets and the spring. The passenger side caliper has the driver's side brackets on it, and the driver's side caliper came with no brackets. So I guess we can at least try to get one side put together. We're gonna rob the hardware off of the passenger side new caliper, shove it onto this one, I suppose, and then I've got another set of calipers ordered. So maybe between the two that I have ordered and the two I have here, I can actually make a complete set. Wouldn't that just be dandy? So I've got both calipers mounted. May have to take that one off again due to the fact that I'm about to put that arm back on. But I was able to get all the hardware on this one. I got the hard line hooked up. Now for the really riveting stuff, I've just got to swap out the e-brake cables. I'm going to put new ones on it since they're kind of a critical piece here. And I can't move them. We need to be able to move these cables in order to adjust the rear calipers, so I'm just going to throw rears on. I think the front one's still good. I think I'll be all right.
All right. Calipers on.
See what this pedal do. How many times you like to pump it? 8, 10?
Off the rip, probably 8 times. Got quite a bit of air to probably get out of that line.
Yeah, it bled a lot off. Oh, I love this thing. Sweet. Too easy. Well, suppose we'll go to the back right and see what we can see. Well, we'll try bleeding this one, see how that treats us. We'll see if we get anything out of here. Hopefully we have pressure. We're not gonna have pressure. I left the bleeder cracked. Let's try this again. Idiot. I smoked my knee doing this exercise by myself one day.
As you do. Did you do your stretches?
No. This was my stretches. How many other bleeders do you think we have open?
Oh, this is where we find out.
Most of them. How's that one?
I'm checking. Oh, that one's good.
Weird. Suppose we check the fronts.
Probably.
See if I get anything out of it first. Hopefully an eyeful. We got air. We got air.
We got air.
Okay. Just repeat this a million more times. About time, Mike Austin and I, we got the brakes dialed in. Got the wheels and tires mounted. Had infinite troubles with these rear brake calipers. Troubles being, for the passenger side, if they send you hard, or if they send you bracketry at all, they send bracketry for the driver's side. Thankfully, we had the lower spring mount still off of the old caliper, but not the arm. So what we had to do with the arm is we had to put a bend in it the opposite direction to make it work on this side. But we got it. We got the brakes bled. We got the tires on. Guess we go drive this thing now. I changed the heater position and my RPM's kicked up, so that's cool. Probably just have a leak. Okay, little buddy, talk to me. Brakes are okay. Rears probably need to be adjusted. Maybe they aren't doing anything. What better way to test it than to immediately throw it on the highway? Let's see if a brake locks up. You know what? We better do a run out to the old cemetery first before we get really carried away and get a lot of speed into these brakes here. We'll drive out to the cemetery and then we'll do the hand test. See if we got smoke rolling off them. I think I can hear a rear one. Like I said, probably needs to be adjusted. Oh, there they are. I know those people. I know those dog park people. Let's see if they call me and tell me that my car's on fire. Otherwise, it feels a lot happier with the new tires on it. This road is garbage, so we're gonna get a lot of bumps. This road might be a little bit better. Oh yeah, the tires are so much better now. Road's not a lot better. Feels better though. Better than it used to last time we were out on this road with the square tires on it. I gotta wonder, as I drive through here, how many of these souls remember seeing a car like this back in their day? Ooh, I hear noise when I go into the left turn at the right rear differential. Like the wheels moving out a little bit and revving on the brakes, which I had a feeling they would. Not hot. I thought that knocking noise was my engine and I about freaked out. No? No heat. Fronts are fine, I'm sure. Yeah, fronts is fine. About this one. Oh, 70 degrees. Thought the flagpole was my engine knocking and I was about to cry. So far, so good. Pads probably need to wear in a little bit too. I gotta say, for all the trouble I went through, if you're gonna do this, I'd highly recommend not using the original rear brake calipers. I would probably just use the S10 rear calipers and then just live with the fact that you don't have an emergency brake cable. But that's just my opinion. Don't take advice from me, for the love of God. I don't want to be held liable. All of our vitals look good. first to say this 403 is no powerhouse, but it runs fine. It runs just fine for what it is. Tires feel good. I wish we had any nice roads around here so that I could really tell what the suspension feels like, but no, we don't. We don't have a smooth road within 5 miles of my shop. It's not wandering. It's not bumping. Steering wheel's not going everywhere. Chalk one up for the balance beads. Put 3 ounces of balance beads in each one of these tires, and mind you, the tires are 255, 60, 15s. Balance bead company says don't use them in cars. I didn't have a way to balance these wheels on my balancer. I don't have the right dies. So $60 worth of balance beads later, here we are. Okay, you want to get on your side? Stay in your lane, Haas. Good oil pressure, good temp, good gas, good volt. Not very many RPMs. Going 10 miles over the speed limit. Beautiful day in January. It's like 53 degrees out right now. I had to turn the heat down because it was cooking me. Okay, I don't think I've ever had this thing up to highway speeds before. I'm all stoved up like the wheels are gonna fall off it. Gosh, no, this thing does drive really, really good. Not a lot of goofy noise. We're just chilling at 60. 60, about 2,400 RPMs. Yeah, what did we figure? This has 273 gears in it, is that right? A bit lower than 2,400 RPMs actually. We're showing 60 and like 2,100. Stands to reason I've got a 78 Z28 and I put a 308 rear end in it and it's at like 2,400 at 60. So yeah, this stands to reason that this has 273s in it. Thought that guy was gonna hit me. Man, if only we could have a nice road to drive this car down, that'd be a lot of fun. Oh, we'll get up to the church here and we'll check it out. Touch our wheels, check for drips, stuff like that. Vitals are good, tick over 40, and then halfway between 100 and 220, whatever that is. Don't smell anything crazy. Yeah, maybe 70 degrees. Car sounds good. Moisture's clearing up. This is the first day I've driven it where it hasn't been super cold. I smell heat, but none of the wheels are hot. So it could just be stuff burning off the exhaust. Car's running really good. Yeah, brakes feel nice. Yeah, we just got heat coming off the exhaust. This is the longest the car's been driven at any speed. Nice little burble. Has really quiet mufflers on it. Okay, let's go up to the old ghost town. The goal is to see how far away we can get stranded. I think my brother is home, so we might not have to wait more than an hour. Feels really good though. I gotta get the junk out of the trunk because it's squeaking and it's driving me nuts. Really though, all is pretty well. For whatever reason, they just couldn't make clocks in these cars that stood the test of time. So they used one clock design for these Firebirds, well, gauge design really. They kind of changed the increments. I think earlier on they were like 8,000 RPMs and 140, 150, 160. And then in 76, they went to 6,000 RPM tacks and 100 mile per hour speedometers. And then in 80, they changed the gauge font and increments. It might have still went up to 6,000 RPMs, but then in 80, that was the first year for the 85 mile per hour speedometer. And despite all the downsides of the 80-81 gauges looking stupid and not going very high up in the miles per hour, they switched over to using quartz clocks, and the quartz ones seemed to work. I had a 80, yeah, that blue 80 that I put the 400 in, that one had a clock in it that still worked. And it was kind of a detriment because the car would sit for like 6 months at a time and drain the battery. So this is a much more visually appealing gauge package than the 80s and 81s, and it's super cool that it being a 10th anniversary car, it got the red backlit gauges. So one of the best combinations available. Well, we haven't lost a wheel yet, so our rear end must be holding together. Really don't like these rear calipers. Blinkers work just wonderfully. The whole steering column feels great. Transmission shifts nice and smooth. Has a nice windshield in it. That's nice. Oh, I forget that it doesn't have the center antenna in it because it has the power antenna. Man, I wonder how difficult this windshield is to find. It seems like all of the ones that you see for sale aftermarket have the built-in antenna because that's what every other one of the cars had in it. I think that the power antenna was an option on this thing. You'd think that the windshield antenna would be an option, but yeah, I know what I'd prefer. I don't like having a big goofy antenna sticking up. Kind of halfway upset that I ripped all the wires out for the radio. That would be nice right now. Maybe I'll do that still. Take a right here, zing on up to the old ghost town. It's super great, at least I feel this way. It's super great that this old ghost town, despite having a population of, I don't know, 30, 40, man, 40 is probably generous, 30-ish people in it, has like a, I don't know, 4 or 5 mile long paved road going up to it. All because of the semi-truck traffic going up to the Costco chicken houses. Costco doesn't own the chicken houses, independent farmers do, but they have a contract with Costco to provide broiler chickens. A lot of people are up in arms about it when it first kind of happened. Broiler chickens do not stink nearly as bad as egg-laying chickens. In fact, you drive by these broiler houses and really the only thing that you can smell is feed. You can't smell the chickens themselves. I feel like that may be a hot topic. What's up, cows? Golly, this is the nicest road around right here. Back when I was in high school, this was started out as gravel, and then they put some oil stuff on it to try to compact it down and make it like a halfway blacktop, and it just did that. It potholed really, really bad. Ah, this sucks. Oh, what is that? Big old hawk or something. It wasn't an eagle. The car would not have agreed with it. There's another one. Well, it's that time of year for all them big raptors to be migrating, I suppose. Oh my gosh, this thing is so comfortable. If I was gonna do power tour, this would be the vehicle I'd do it in. Might have to buy the dealership out of this one. Yeah, great so. I don't know if I finished my spiel. The paved roads are to deliver feed out to the chicken houses because the truck traffic would absolutely demolish a gravel road with how frequent trucks have to go out there to deliver chickens and feed. So that's why we got a nice paved road. I hope that the tax base is paying for it. We'll go down here to where the paved road takes a left. No, you know what? We'll pull over in town here and check things out. These people need something to look at. They probably haven't seen another soul in about 3 years. I don't have a brake light on, so that's cool. On the dash, I mean. I think this is the only street through town. Just too bad. That means I'm gonna have to turn around in somebody's driveway. My gosh, this thing runs so smooth. You wouldn't believe it. It probably needed this to help the rings see. Yeah, the smoke really cleared up. I don't think it was even smoke. I think it was just vapor. Gosh, you can just barely feel the brakes. Maybe a little over paranoid. No leaks. There's like 20 dogs in this town and they're all barking at me. What a beauty. Sweet. I feel like Robbie on Joe Dirt now, driving this thing down gravel. Is it great for the paint? No, but you know, the road's not wet. We're just gonna go a little ways. If this ever becomes your car, you cannot drive it on gravel then. But judging by all the dirt and crap we found underneath of it, this isn't its first time. This sucker's smoother on gravel than it is on the pavement. Says a lot about our roads, I suppose. Yeah, we're doing 60 and it's just backing it up. I think these WS6s, yeah, they also got, I believe, quick ratio steering boxes. I can't remember what the ratio is. I think it's like 3 turns lock to lock or something like that. What a monster. An absolute beauty of an automobile. I sure do miss living out here. I'm willing to bet a Trans Am has not graced these roads since I lived out here. I think that's the hay shed that caught on fire. Yeah, the roof looks a bit warped. I bet it was. Yeah, a bit tweaked. It's heat treated now. What are you doing up there, Pally? Just a little road hunting? I don't think there's anything to hunt right now. Birds, I guess. We can still hunt birds. Oh, he's turning, just getting the mail. Just wanted to see who the hair load was driving around out here like this. You know what? I should have gone the other direction. Then again, how long do we want this video to be? Some lime. Looks like lime. Not the lemon flavor. Looks like we're all in grain. Jeff's way here. Other Jeff. Can't wait to put a door panel back on this car. It's going to feel a lot better. It's going to feel like a car again. Just eats gravel. Alright, how about a brake check? Nice. She'll lock them up, no problem. About a carburetor check. Still spinning. Decent. Like I said, she ain't gonna win any races, but she'll cruise just fine. Yeah, vitals still look good. Tell our oil's warming up. We're at about 50 now going down the road, which is more than enough, especially at the kind of RPMs we're running. Kind of want at least 10 pounds of oil pressure per 1,000 RPMs. So we are well exceeding that. Man, whoever lives on this road must have some pull. We got a lot of new gravel out here. White rock, I should say. This one gets pretty wet, pretty swampy. As you can see, it's kind of low lying down here. Probably needed it. Doesn't get a lot of traffic either. Here, this one we're coming up on that we're going to take a left on. It gets a lot of traffic. It's going to be a little more hard packed, I think. Man, we got all sorts of fun stuff out there. We got 67 to 72 Chevy straight truck, a Striper International, a couple combines. We got a Steiger. Can't tell what the other truck is. Man, I was full of it. This road's covered in white rock too. That's too bad. Hey, at least the sun's in our face. I was gonna comment on how nice the headliner was, but it just has enough shit holding it up that it's not gonna fall down. As long as we don't take down our visors or our opera light, we'll be okay. It's probably the dang shocks that are making all the noises. They've got like, it's got like those coil over, lift up kind of shocks on it. I bet they're squeaking around. This thing loves highway, man. This would be an interstate car. There's 273 gears in it. I don't know how accurate or inaccurate our oil and our temperature gauges are, but hey, they get up to where they're at and they don't move, they don't deviate. So I'd say that all in all, we've got to be pretty healthy. Get your motor running. This is probably one of the better riding, driving F-bodies that I've been in. Could use a little more lumbar support though. It'd be okay. My back is kind of achy and my butt keeps sliding forward, so I got kind of a hunchback thing going on. Hey, to everybody that celebrates it, happy January. Nebraska's gonna gain 40 minutes of sunlight this month, which we desperately needed. We're all gonna feel a lot better about ourselves. It's not saying it's gonna get any warmer, but February, March and April can still be an unholy terror around here. Oh, we better slow a roll, the kids are outside. I think the worst weather we had last year was in April. We had a humongous, unprecedented ice storm come through. Took out a record amount of power lines. I think they said like 400 or 500 power lines were knocked down, and the previous record was like 220. Yes, that was great. We were without power for 3.5 days. Nice break from reality though, let me tell you. You can't do anything, so you can't go to work. All you can do is sit at home and put gas in your generator. I watched a river runs through it about 20 times, and I think I ate 2 bags of jelly beans. This car is extremely, aside from the missing door panel, visually appealing from the driver's seat. You know, it's got a nice looking shaker, a nice looking hood, nice hood decal, good clean windshield, nice gauges, nice dash. When you think about it, this is the position that you probably view the car from the most. So if you've got a nice looking hood and interior, man, you can really think that you're hot stuff. So long as this is the only angle of the vehicle you get. Yeah, we're just motoring, man. And we're almost home, so that's cool. All in all, this has been, heck, I don't know, 6 miles to the next highway. 6.5 probably, 13. I don't know, we've probably done close to 20 miles. We will by the time we get back. It's not often, I guess it's kind of often, 50% often that I get something that I do a revival on to this point where we can just get down on the highway with it. Really like this car. It had a ton of potential, so it'd be a disservice to now, you know, go completely through the brakes and put new tires on it. There's a lot of things that I've skipped that I'd like to do eventually, you know, just little stuff, belts, hoses, and what have you. Little stuff that if you take it a long ways away could potentially wear out and leave you stranded. If you're really gonna get out on the road with this old junk, spend the $100, replace your belts and your hoses. You're not gonna regret it. Heck, you could get really proactive and swap out your alternator, your water pump, and your fuel pump. Seem to do a lot of those. Fair amounts of fuel pumps. Got to do a fuel pump on almost everything I deal with. An alternator might be, I don't know, 25%. Then water pump seems like it's about 10-15%. Man, I hate to say this, but I might have to come up with a neat and creative way to sell some stuff that I have and buy this from my dealership. Crap. I've had a model of this car since I was 10 years old. Park you over to the sunlight. Check out that hot lineup. We got our tires dirty. It's probably the biggest bummer of it all. Cool. This one's got oil on it. It was on the back and it had a leaky axle seal, as you remember. Cool. And cool. Doesn't look like our differential's coming apart on us. No. I don't see any oil or brake fluid leaking. Nothing up front either. Cool. We haven't puked all of our antifreeze out. This smells like hot exhaust. Well, how about it, folks? 1979 Trans Am 10th anniversary. Brought back to life after, well, we'll say being parked since 91. and then not being started for 9 years. So all in all, things have gone quite well. Thanks for sticking it out to the end. We got another Pontiac we're gonna post up pretty soon. Thanks for watching.